Hey everyone, Sergio P here, and today we're talking about the fits in my pocket AD200 strobe light. These are by Strobepro for me. Maybe it's Cheetah for you, or Pixapro, or Flashpoint, whatever your local interpretation is of the super popular Godox system. I want to share with you my experience as a commercial photographer, working with a bunch of these flashes for many years now in many countries on many assignments and many weather conditions. I've got a little graveyard of piling up of these, but it isn't to say that I haven't thoroughly enjoyed using these lights and continue to use these on almost every single shoot that I have, whether it be on self-assignments or on client shoots. I'm just tough on my gear. I put it to work, and I guess I live by the beach. I also want to ask the question whether they're worth upgrading to the AD200 Pros, or say if you're in the market for a set of lights, can you save a few bucks by just buying the AD200s used on your local marketplace instead? Now, when I first started my venture into flash photography, I burned through a bunch of the Godox speedlight versions. They were some Young New Old branded ones, I believe. Essentially, they were all about a quarter the price of the Canon flashes at the time. I was only interested in speedlights back, say, in 2013, 2014, and I had one Canon, I think it was the 430EX, but I definitely couldn't find 500 bucks for another flash brand new when my whole investment in the camera world was probably 500 bucks to begin with. But by buying a bunch of cheapo flashes, even if I burned through them, it taught me what I found important and what I found just gimmicky in lighting systems. At least for my particular light application. I had to shoot more to understand what my applications even were. So I was too green. I'm still green in the grand scheme of things. But I've gotten to a point in my photography career here in 2023 where I understand what I need out of a flash system, and these newer Godox systems, including the slightly older AD200, are exactly what I need when I need them. Now, when I'm flying, which we all know traveling for shoots took a big hit, but when traveling in general, these flashes are the perfect go-to for packing light in your carry-on. I love how they stack up like books, or if you remove the insides of the case that they come in, you can cram the three of them in this nifty little protected pouch. I always prefer to rent stands in the city that I'm in so I can travel simply with carry-on equipment. It never leaves my sight, and I don't have to lug nearly as much gear. If you're shooting inside, these lights are plenty bright for most shooting scenarios, especially portraiture. They do come up a little short outside, but I'd say that they can at least match the sun in most scenarios and can definitely add some very important fill when needed. I'll take them over not having them, that's for sure. When I know I'm gonna need a lot more power though, I even found a way to fit an AD600 and two AD200s in my think tank airport traveler, so I can have a powerful strobe as my main key light, and these two AD200s as smaller but just as functional kicker and background lights that I can use as either an outdoor setup or just to add deeper depth of field, because shooting at 1.8 isn't really my jam. They all work with the same transmitter, which is really what you want, and they have built-in receivers. They all work with HSS, and it's just a really versatile and modular setup. There's also this bulb attachment here, which creates a slightly stronger output to your AD200s, just because the light travels outwards in a radial way. So if you combine it with a reflector like this, you can increase the overall output of your light ever so slightly. Using a bulb like this definitely reduces the hotspot in the middle, but also changes the flash duration of your unit. The Fresnel flash head concentrates your light more like a beam, and it's going to have an effectively faster flash duration throughout the power range, except at full power. Both are capped at 2/20th of a second, which, if you've watched my AD600 video, you'll know that when creating a scene from a pitch black starting point, that flash duration effectively becomes your new shutter speed. Very important when you're looking to freeze or even just to blur motion. It's always fun as a photographer to pull off these lighting tricks in camera, and I mean, from a client's perspective, much less time consuming, more efficient, and ultimately more impressive. I've always been on the go, even here in my studio. It's not exactly massive, so the smaller lights and the smaller stands, it all adds up and helps me tell my story. It helps me not add any unnecessary hindrances to my creativity, and I don't ever really feel like they limit me in any way. It's not the flash that's the problem. It's that I ran out of espresso beans this morning. I can't believe that Granny Smith apples are $4 a pound right now. It's any other excuse but me. It can't be me. There's no way it's me. But it's also not the flash. I can't imagine being in the position where I'm thinking to myself, this flash cost me 5 times less money and now I can't hashtag pro photo on my posts. I don't have an air remote. But the decision of shooting Strobepro did leave me with 5 times more money left over to spend on test shoots and self-assignments and props and backdrops and treats for bijou. I don't know. You of course value what you want to value and spend the money you want to spend on whatever you want to work with. But just know that all flashes do the same thing. All cameras do the same thing. All these photography tools are just enablers for the story that lies in your mind. Use them to be creative, like an extension of your body, not to flex online. Now, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with wanting or even owning a Leica or a Hasselblad 500 with a digital back, or have the whole Broncolor lineup collecting dust in your shed. Gear is sexy. Who cares? But I'm just trying to say that it all doesn't matter in the end product. As a commercial photographer, if you're getting booked to create ads for a client, they only care about the end product. They don't care how you got there. And expensive tools are usually just there to fix a very specific problem. And their existence basically means that there's a cheaper and more DIY alternative to what they're replacing. So find it. Be creative. That's what you're paid to do. If you get to a point where it becomes financially irresponsible not to have certain tools for the stories your clients are asking of you, then yeah. But until then, it's much more important to be content with what works and look through the smoke and mirrors that is the camera companies advertising to mostly hobbyists and enthusiasts. Even though us commercial photographers, we are hobbyists and enthusiasts at our core, I do get it. We just can't use our personal emotions to motivate financial business decisions. Just gotta be smart about it. At least I do. I don't know. I hate to tell you what to do, but I want to try to save you some money. Let you spend it on something more worthwhile. If you can get it done for 500 bucks, don't spend 2 grand to solve the same problem. Now, when it comes to comparing the AD200s versus the AD200 Pros, well, from my perspective, I'm looking to see if it's worth upgrading. Maybe if one goes out, I'll see if it's worth buying a brand new Pro or buy a used one off Marketplace, just because honestly I have no problems with these 200s right here. So let's see. The Pro has 1/10 power increments, which is nice, but not a must by any means. I know that any photo editing software can easily adjust 1, even 2 full stops of light for safety, so I hate using this term, but for the difference of 1/3 of a stop, you can usually save it in post. The only time that would maybe be an issue is in the ratio between multiple flashes. Let's say you're using 5 different lights and an AD200 is just being used to light as a kicker on part of the frame. Could be that 1/3 of increment is too drastic of a change for that part of the image. But again, you can add an adjustment brush and just fix it in post. This color stability mode in the Pro only stabilizes down to plus or minus 100 Kelvin, which honestly isn't really that great. If I'm doing a stop motion image for a client, I'll whip out the big strobes because these 200s almost live close to full power, so the color stability already takes a little hit, which is fine for most use cases, but just annoying when it comes to stop motion where every image has to look pretty much identical. The Pro also has a better battery. Their website does claim they have about double what I typically see on these batteries for everyday use. Look, they say 900 shots in their real life shooting example, and I comfortably get 500 on portrait shoots and say 300 for product shoots because they're basically at full power during product shoots. But these are AD200 batteries and have maybe 4 or 5 years of use on them. Apparently the new batteries are more efficient, but they're also reverse compatible, so if ever I see that these are starting to fail, I can always upgrade. However, since I've dropped and broken a couple of these, I also don't always need all of them at the same time. I usually have a few spare batteries on hand, so I very rarely run out of juice. These are pretty good, to be honest with you. Look, if I drop another light into a lake, if a skater washes out and takes the flash with him, or if I do a super cool shoot with fire and end up melting one of my flashes, sure, I'll consider upgrading to the Pros if I need a new light ASAP. But I will most definitely be hunting my local marketplace for the regular AD200s because these things are super solid. Now, if you're struggling with finding your photography style right now, check out this video right over here. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you like this video, consider giving it a like, subscribe for more videos every week, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.